Hail friends, welcome back to the channel. Bob here, we're back playing Everquest, P99, still on the green server. I'm half on green, half off green. But we'll probably be, we'll probably be all teal at some point, I would think. Yeah, I've got this video's got like a theme, a topic to it. So if you're not interested in that kind of thing, yeah, this might not be the video for you. Switch off and go and watch. I mean, there's loads of other P99 content to watch. Yeah, go and watch that. First of all, an update. This Augur is level 17. I'm over at the Knolls in East Karana. It's a place that I've been to. I've spent a fair amount of time before. It's quite interesting. I'm not quite sure what the lore behind it is. I should check these things out first. Maybe there isn't any lore, but during the day you get Knoll Reavers and you get some war wolves and stuff wandering around. And then by night, all of the live mobs despawn and you get undead versions, which are slightly higher level. So you get undead Reavers. The war wolves become spirit stalkers, I believe, which is just like a floaty... yeah, like undead wolf kind of model, or ghostly wolf model, I should say. And yeah, and it's a great place. I enjoy it. I like the two different themes during the day and during the night. Yeah, and it's going pretty well. I came here at 15, so I'm not sure if. And it's a bit dicey, a bit ropey. You tend to use all your mana, and you get beaten about a bit, you know. But yeah, it's it kind of works. Once you get up to level 17, you know, you go through the mobs a bit quicker, and things speed up a bit. I quite like it. I mean, it's not brilliant on the money front. You get the occasional bronze weapon, a bit of rawhide armor, some rusty weapons mostly, and some coin. But I enjoy it. I like the Karanas. So I do spend a fair amount. I have spent a fair amount of time here in the past. Yeah, and it's just a great place to level. Particularly at these levels, you know, where it's nice to have a bit of space. You know, I mean, I've kind of found that melee's actually got better, as I've got more levels over these mobs. But I do seem to feel that I'm missing a lot more than I used to. So I'm kind of doing a mixture of root rotting and then a bit of meleeing when I kind of fancy it. Interesting. That sicken spell wore off quicker than normal, but it can't have done, so yeah, maybe I'm just imagining it. Yeah, so, but it's going well. Level 17 and a half now, so I'm hoping to get 18 today. It shouldn't be too much of a problem. Yeah, it's going well. Enjoying it immensely, but I'll do that in another video. This video is, like, quite often, like over the years, I've had people asking me about, you know, why I solo so much and that kind of thing. And I thought I'd combine it with something else that I was kind of going to talk about. I might be spending a fair amount of this video just sitting down, actually, but we'll get rid of that one quick. Then we'll get ready for the next one. Yeah, and also, like, why, you know, quite often you just hear people in a fairly derogatory way saying, "Oh, I don't know why people play, you know, MMOs on their own." So I'll kind of cover that as well. But the second point is actually, when I get asked it, you know, it's just a genuine query. So it's not someone saying, "Oh, what are you soloing all the time for?" You know, it's a genuine query. And there are quite a lot of different aspects to that. And you know, maybe you'll get something out of it. Maybe you're a similar person. You'll think, "Oh, that's me," you know, and yeah, maybe you'll get something from it in some way. that's kind of the point. I don't want to sound like a, you know, I'm going to say this and you're going to get something from it. It's yeah, not like that. But anyway, I think probably not. I was going to say the most important point. And it's probably not the most important point, but it's probably like a joint. Oh, nice. Rawhide tunic and a rusty dagger. Not the most important. We'll look over the coast there. Nice little view. Kind of like a equally important point. I think, first of all, is that I kind of have a chronic illness that I've had for about, well, kind of early next year. It'll be 6 years coming up for. I don't want to go into that side of it too much, you know. that's a lot. You just got to get on with it, essentially, haven't you? But that has a number of effects, a number of impacts, and most of it, from a grouping point of view, most of it just centres around the fact that I could never arrange a group, So, I mean, I'd love if one of you guys said, look, I'd love to do some sort of regular, like duoing or whatever with you, that'd be awesome. I think I just took a screenshot. Why not? It's a great view. I would love to do that. But there would be days where you would log in and I just wouldn't log in, essentially. And you wouldn't even hear from me. And it wouldn't be because I was being rude. It would just be because sometimes when I wake up, I just can't do anything, essentially. So yeah, it sounds weird, but a night's sleep, I wake up and I just still can't do anything. So, that's kind of, and so I guess part of it is not kind of wanting to let people down, not to arrange something with someone and then for whatever reason it doesn't work out. There's all those kind of anxiety type issues that go that go with that. But that is a genuine thing. And also sometimes, like when I log in and start playing, like in an hour or so in, I might have to stop playing for similar reasons, and that makes it quite difficult. It's I mean, if I was here, for example, I mean, obviously now I'm telling you this, I'm assuming it wouldn't be too much of an issue for you. But for example, like someone a half hour's journey away says, come over and join a group. And I go, okay then, and I'm off, and then during the way there, I've got to say, actually, sorry, I can't do it. I've got to log out, and they might have been waiting for me for half an hour or whatever, and could have been looking for someone else. With regards to health, those are issues that crop up, and it's kind of why I don't avoid it. Well, actually, not quite true. I guess maybe I do avoid it. But there are issues that can crop up around being in my situation. It's you might good intentionally arrange something like a regular little duo, or say to someone, "Yep, I'd love to group with you. I'll be over in a minute." And then it doesn't happen. So I guess in some ways, it's a thing where I'm trying to avoid those situations, I guess, and so they're kind of genuine concerns, but again, not something that I wouldn't, I would still attempt to do it if it cropped up, but that's something that can be kind of it can make it difficult to I'm not quite sure the words. I'm looking for a certain word. I'm not doing a very good job of finding it. It can make it difficult to say yes, I guess, because you never know how that's going to turn out. And I guess in some ways, people might watch my videos and think, well, actually, I'm just not going to ask this guy to go in a group, because maybe you don't want to be in that situation where you go, yeah, come over, and you're in a group with other people you don't know. And then that guy you asked to come over is suddenly not coming over when you could have found someone else. It's all quite complicated. I'm not sure if I'm explaining it well at all, but that's kind of that's part of it. But anyway, that's kind of like the health thing, and that can be a slight issue. And I guess the other thing is to kind of move on to just I guess reasons that a lot of people would probably identify with. So I hate when people say I'm quite lazy or I'm quite mad. Can you be quite anything? You either are or you're not, I guess. So I'm going to avoid using things like quite and a bit. I'm an introvert as well, and yeah, that's just that's one of those things. It's a fact of life. That's how I'm made, and you kind of just got to get on with those things. So I guess that's kind of. And I know the definition of, part of the definition of, I just want to point out, actually, before I carry on, that I also want to say, thanks for all the comments. I mean, I guess that I don't know if like I don't know what's happened, but Green and Teal has kind of allowed more people just to say, hey, hello, you know, like your videos and stuff. I'm not quite sure if people are just playing at different times at the moment, you know, or what it is. I've no idea. But yeah, thanks for all the comments. There's been loads of them every day, and it's brilliant. Yeah. So getting on to the introverted thing. So part of the definition of being an introvert is that you prefer your own company, and I'm not sure that that's entirely what my personality is like. I do much prefer my own company as opposed to some company. And when I say some company, I mean certain types of company. Yeah. But not all company, you know, it's just, again, it's just one of those things. Do I want to be in a group where someone keeps spamming group chat about stuff? You know, probably not. You know, I'm happy to talk in group and have a bit of a chuckle and discuss things, but you know, when people will just randomly keep spamming chat, I don't know if it's because they feel they have to, or that's just what they're like in real life. But yeah, there's certain types of company that I generally avoid, and that's in the same as in real life as well. But that's part of being an introvert. You know, that's kind of, again, that's how it works. That's your lot. You got to get on with it. But also part of that also is I'm not the sort of person who would probably ever start a group, because of just the anxieties and the pressure that go along with that. So I guess also, that's partly, I guess that's partly it. So when you're not the sort of person who will start your own group, it's weird actually, because in real life, depending on in certain situations, I'm kind of not like that at all, and will take the lead. But you know, 90% of situations that's not the case at all, and I will definitely be the wallflower. So I guess being introverted, that's another. I don't want to do that. Because you can't duck out of spells now. You'll still duck, but the spell will still go off, I've found. So yeah, so that all kind of plays into it. So I'm not the sort of person who will go into a zone and go, right, let's start a group. You know, so again, that's essentially why you often find myself soloing. You know, because I'm the combination of, you know, I guess you can just ignore chat, so that's not too much of a problem. But yeah, but the other side of being introverted is just the whole anxiety around just doing things with people, even in a game. It might sound weird, maybe you identify with it, I've got no idea, but that's the whole thing as well. And I think also, like being like, I mean, next month I'm 49, so part of it is about being 49, I guess, you know. And I know that some of you out there will be my age or older, and you'll say, oh well, I'm not like that at all, and that's fine. You know, some people are just not like that. But it's not that I'm a grouchy 49-year-old, but kind of when I log into the game, I kind of want to maximise my time as much as I can, because that's the sort of player that I am, you know. And and so am I maximising my time travelling across the continent to get in a group that I might have to leave before I even get there, or am I better off just sitting here doing this? I guess is the thing. And unfortunately, I guess I mostly decide to sit here and just do this. Now, none of that is to say that I don't want a group or get in a guild and do raids and all that kind of stuff. You know, as I said, if one of you, I mean, there's a couple of you I've spoken to in game, and I hope to do some duoing or something with you at some point soon. Yeah, but that doesn't mean that I don't want to do it. You know, if one of you sent me a PM and said, you know, I'm in the same zone, or I'm over here, you're there. Let's duo. I'd be happy to do it, assuming that I kind of wasn't in one of those situations where, or assuming that I wasn't just about to log out, obviously, which has happened to the other day, when someone said, do you fancy coming over for a group, and I was about to log out. Yeah, but also assuming that I don't feel I'm going to be going into some sort of health crisis within the next hour or so. Those are the main kind of factors that would mean that I would say kind of no. I think someone, I think it was in the first week of the server, someone said, I'm a zone over, come and join a group. But yeah, but I kind of well, what I said, and you probably watched this thing, I think you probably remember what I said to you was I was kind of AFK a lot, maybe. And that was purely down to the fact that I was feeling terrible, so I'm kind of slumped at my keyboard listening to something, and I'm killing a mob every 5 minutes or whatever, and then going, it's going quite well actually at the moment. You get to a certain level where things speed up a bit and you just kill mobs a bit quicker. I don't like all this copper though. So yeah, so that's kind of answers that question as to why I solo a lot. And as I said, it's nothing to do with not wanting to do it. If even being introverted, if you kind of know what I mean, I'd like to group and I'd like to do more, but there are just a number of factors that stop me from doing that. I think also like playing off peak is a thing as well, because it got to a point where I kind of gave up thinking about kind of raiding with guilds and stuff, because I just don't play at the right times. When you even on the green server now, the population during the times that I play is, it's kind of evened out a bit. So even on the super popular green server, when I log in off peak, there's kind of 700 people maybe on, which might be enough, to do raiding and stuff. But in my experience, most of the raiding goes on, well, not off peak, because that's just it just makes sense, that's when the most people are on, and I perfectly understand that. So yeah, so all those reasons together are kind of why you generally see me doing this in videos. But as I said, it's not that I wouldn't want to do it. And if you're playing green or teal and you want a duo or whatever, I would certainly go out of my way to try and do that. But those are the factors, I guess, why. I guess because it's just the easiest and the safest option to do what I'm doing right now. I guess that's why you'll find me doing it. Yeah, but then that's okay. I think part of the reason for me talking about it is that if there's anyone out there that identifies with it, it's all right to be like that. Don't feel that you have to do stuff that will make you anxious or put you under pressure. I think that's the key thing. I mean, I've had that quite a lot over the course of my life, where people expect stuff and you just can't do it, and they don't understand why you can't do it. And it just makes for a bit of a mess, essentially. So yeah, that's that point. And kind of as to why people play, and I know many of them. I know many of people have said, "Well, I love Everquest or Project Gorgon or whatever, but I play it on my own." And that's and I think the reason for that, is, and it's interesting because I was watching the recent Pantheon stream, and there were people in there going, "Oh, I don't understand why," blah blah blah, and the kind of developers were in a roundabout way trying, and the person presenting it was also trying to say, well, look, this is a social game, that's what we're designing it for, and that's fine. We're not saying it's not that, but also, I don't see the point of you saying, oh, I don't understand why you're playing it. And the reason that we play it is because these games offer a type of gameplay that single player role playing games don't offer. There isn't a game, I can't think of a single player game that offers this, essentially. And what I mean by that is not standing around waiting for 5 minutes to get your health, your mana back, and then killing one mob and sitting down again. It's just the range of, I think it's just a range of options with regards to what you can do. Single player games don't have dungeons just laid out the way that an MMO does. Where they're kind of like a puzzle box. and you within a group, or depending on what class you've chosen, like on your own, you have to use the tools you've got to progress and defeat that puzzle box. You know, there just aren't single player games that offer that. I mean, I love The Witcher 3, but it simply doesn't offer that. You know, it's got dungeons. You know, you can kind of build your Geralt a certain way, but in comparison to a dungeon experience in Everquest, it's just completely different. And I'd say the same for other MMOs as well. There isn't a single player game that offers what Project Gorgon offers with regards to its scope and ideas and, you know, trade skills and just everything that it's got. You know, there isn't a game that offers that. Think of Worm Online. You know, there isn't a single player game that offers that at all. You know, offers that experience. I guess you could say, like, you know, Worm Unlimited, which is like an offline version. But the other thing you got to think of as well is that even though you're playing solo, if that bloody hell, I thought that would have. No, he's right over there. I noticed I can't cast spells in the water on mobs that are in the water. I've noticed. I'm not sure if that's a classic thing, but I used to be able to do that. It's going to make me out for a liar now, but I've tried to do it and I haven't been able to do it. Okay, here we go. I think it would just say you can't see him. Yeah, you can't see your target from here. So, okay, so let's swim out and try and bash him. Yeah, but as I was saying before I got sidetracked, is that, yeah, the single player games just don't offer this type of experience. They offer a great experience. You know, I mean, I often go back and play older role-playing games because I'm kind of a bit sick of the third-person, like, rolling out the way kind of role-playing games that developers seem to think that everyone wants. And I guess, you know, when The Witcher and that kind of thing sells so many copies, you know, maybe they're right, you know, but I go back to playing some like old tile-based role-playing games. There's role-playing games where there just feels like there's a bit more strategy to it. Yeah, and you know, rather than the rolling around and all that sort of stuff, and the limited builds and limited role-playing. You know, I think some people often get confused with what role-playing is. You know, it's a lot of things, but just having a story with interest, just having a quest line with an interesting story is not necessarily role-playing. You know, it's because of the choices that you don't get given. You know, it's all fairly linear. Yeah, but anyway, but that's kind of why I don't understand why people can't understand that. You know, surely people must have played single-player role-playing games and MMORPGs and just realised that there is a big difference between the two. I don't quite know. I'm not quite sure of the confusion there, but there you go. Maybe it's one of those things where because they like doing it for a reason, that means that someone else can't enjoy it for a different reason. You know, there are a lot of those people on the internet. Anyway, I've talked myself out almost to a point where I'm now going to slump over my keyboard. And I hope you've enjoyed the video and got something from it. The second part about playing MMOs on your own was, just knocked the mic, was something that I kind of wanted to do a video on for quite some time. And the first part, kind of, I've knocked my mic again. kind of worked into that quite well, and hopefully you got something from the first part at least. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon. Hello guys, welcome back. I just wanted to quickly add something. I was about to say something and then I got sidetracked by the knoll in the water. And it's also that even though, to do with the playing MMOs on your own, is that even though you're playing the games on your own, because there are other people in the games, you still get that kind of chaos and emergent gameplay that you don't get if those players weren't there. So you might not be playing with them or in a group with them, but they do have an impact on the world, and quite a big impact as well sometimes. So yeah, you also don't get that kind of chaos, unpredictability in single player games particularly, I don't think, unless it's like bugs and stuff. Anyone who's played any open world game will be aware of bugs and stuff that can just cause some of the most fun sometimes in those games. Just because of crazy things that happen. But yeah, so like randomness, emergent gameplay, chaos is something also that you get in MMOs because of other players, even if you're not playing with them. So that's another kind of, well, I think a big point that I thought of and then didn't quite get it out. But anyway, yeah, this is definitely now the end of the video.